Hi, my name's Dara Sutton, and here we're at the Esplanade today with Lyle Rebbeck, who happens to be the producer of Medicine Hat's own jazz festival. Welcome, Lyle.
Thanks so much, Dara.
So tell me about how Jazz Fest started, with the origins and the purpose.
Well, that's a great question. The Jazz Society started 22 years ago, and it was a few of us musicians who went away to Edmonton for a weekend to play and came back and said, why don't we get some music coming down here? And so for 6 years we did a series, and then somebody had the idea of a festival. Let's give it a try. Let's hook in with the other Canadian festivals and see what happens. And so we started with a 3-day weekend festival, one guest and a number of local artists. And what can I say? It felt like the right thing at the right time. It felt like the city embraced it from the beginning. It felt like we're ready for this. You know, we've moved from Vancouver and we're used to festivals, and yeah, we'd like to have one here. Or, you know, we always go away in the summer for festivals. Wouldn't it be nice to be able to stay here? And I think as people started to catch on to the fact that the same artists that were performing in Vancouver and Montreal were coming right here, then we started to get that interest in saying, okay, this is a serious festival. And then bit by bit, I think people also began to discover that you didn't have to necessarily have Charlie Parker on your iPod to like Jazz Fest. That it was a festival, that it was about a good time. I mean, that's what festivals are, right? It's about people connecting to other people. It's about that sense of joy and community that gets built as people get out of their homes and get into the streets or the clubs or the theaters. And music is the backdrop. That's the impetus for it. But really, you know, what a festival is about, it's about people connecting. And so I think that that emphasis on great music and world-class music, but also helping people to come into that place of celebration, really has sort of won the hearts of the city in many ways.
Well, having attended last year, I remember the sense of relationship that occurred, like the music and the patio where I happened to be. So what kind of venues will you be having this year? Where will things be?
We like to have a variety of venues and create a variety of experiences, all the way from you know, taking the music to where people are, like the you know, storefront outside Tim Hortons downtown, which is about as Canadian as you can get, and the rooftop of the Parkade where nobody ever goes, ever, except once a year to have a party. And you know, right into the you know, one of the finest theaters in Western Canada, in the Esplanade and the main theater, and we do a late night series that starts at 10:30 every night, and that's that place where, you know, you're walking down the street in New York and you've come to this great city and you see the Blue Note, or you see this place and you hear music and you go in there and you come back and you say, man, you should have seen this club I was at in New York City. Well, we do it here. We do it here at 10:30 every night, and those same musicians that were performing in New York are now here. It's intimate, there's tables, there's a glass of wine or a beer in the corner, and you know, there's that sort of really intimate atmosphere. And we do, you know, dance parties. We have one of Cuba's top 13-piece Latin dance groups down at the Medelta Pottery, which is a beautiful setting. Outside in the courtyard, and you know, there you are in Havana. You didn't have to buy an air ticket, you know, and it's about dance, and it's about fun, and all those kinds of things. So we try to pick venues that have some variety and some fun to them, but also that can create an atmosphere of connection with the musicians. Because, you know, music is all about connection, and the artists comment about our festival, the way people really listen, and the sense of connection that happens, and then as a result of that, how their performances sort of get transformed, because the feedback from the audience really spurs them on. So that sense of connection is really, really important.
Would you consider that's kind of the essence of what jazz in particular is, where I may not necessarily know much about jazz, but I still might enjoy myself?
It is. Jazz is very intimate, and you know, for those that don't know much about the background of jazz, 95% of what you hear when you come to a jazz concert is improvised. And by that, I mean spontaneously created. So that's why if a jazz musician even pulls music out, it might be one sheet. They might play for 30 minutes because it's all about this spontaneous creation. So, you know, it's almost like watching a painter paint. You know, and I think most artists would say that the atmosphere for them to create has got to be, it's got to be right. It's got to be pretty conducive to that. And so I think that's why as we create that atmosphere and people are you know, making their music, the audience is responding, and the artist just digs in and goes, ah, they're with me. Or they might respond to something that they played and the artist goes, oh, what was that? Let me go back there. Oh, yeah, and follows that sort of a line. So jazz is, I think that's why people that might not think they like jazz, as they begin to understand what goes on behind it. And then you might even hear them quoting some little piece that you know, and they go, oh, wow, how did he work that into that? Why did you think of that? And so then that excitement with the music can happen. And once somebody starts to get to that point, then they're sold. We don't have to do anything else. They're there. They're champing at the bit, waiting for the door to open.
So for those of us who are going to explore our relationship with jazz, what are some of the artists we can look forward to and some of the events that'll be occurring, timelines, that sort of thing?
Right, well, we've got 7 full days. We've got close to 100 musicians doing close to 60 performances here in the course of a week. So a lot of music going on, there really is. And as I said, some of the same artists that are going to be at all of the major jazz festivals across Canada. I'm really excited to have Michael Casehammer back. He's a Canadian boy, a boogie-woogie piano player that's doing all kinds of, you know, Frank Sinatra crooning as well. He's got the whole package. If you've seen his poster, you know, he's the one that my female, you know, volunteers all go, can I work that show? And it's in a double bill with Kelly Lee Evans, who won the Juno Award last year for Best Jazz Vocal Album. She's been in Paris all this past year recording and performing. And so that double bill happens Tuesday night, the 19th at 7:30 in the Esplanade Theatre. Earlier that day, Kelly Lee is doing a show just for elementary school children. This is one of the most exciting parts of the festival to me. Synovus is our major sponsor for that, and over 1,000 elementary school children come and hear one of our headliners in the Esplanade Theatre. It's the whole thing, and Kelly Lee is such a sweetheart of a girl. She's a young mom herself, has that connection with kids, and she's so dynamic. But you just need to call our Jazz Fest number, which I think will be posted. It's 529-4857, and reserve those seats. But yeah, that's a great opportunity. And even if your children are in school and their class isn't coming, some parents will opt to bring them anyway. So that's a great chance to hear them. I mentioned you know, a group from Cuba, Will Campa. They were here once before. Will Campa was the lead singer for Maraca for many, many years, and they've been here, Grammy-nominated group. And this, I mean, if you've ever been to Cuba or if you've heard Cuban music, you know that incredible complexity that comes out smooth and so unbelievably infectious. And this is a great group with horns and percussion and all that stuff. That's Thursday night, June the 21st, 7:30 down in the Delta. Jack Semple's was a staple at Jazz Fest for many years. He hasn't been here for a while. He's one of these smoking, you know, guitar players from Regina, and he's going to be on top of the parkade this year. And that's a free concert. It's Saturday night, the 23rd of June. Starts at 6:30, and our own local Rob Hudick is going to be opening for that show. And Rob's got a great following in town too. So that's one of those nights you bring the whole family. And you know, we've got chalk for the kids to draw on the cement, and bring your lawn chair, and it's, you know, one of those great events. I'm really excited this year in bringing back a couple of local people. Todd and Mo Lefevre, brother and sister, grew up here in Medicine Hat, went to high school, took lessons at the conservatory, both guitar players, and they're now both professional musicians. Mo in Edmonton and Todd in Toronto. And I don't know when they played together last, you know? Maybe at Christmas time, you know, around the tree or something, but in public, I don't know. I'm so excited to have them come back and share, you know, music with their local community that sort of helped raise them. And that show is on Sunday, the 24th of June, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and it's up on the terrace of the Esplanade.
Nice. So if people want to get more information, you mentioned earlier the phone number, but apparently there's also a website.
Yes, the website is medicinehatjazzfest.com. And everything you want there is there. You can download the brochure. There are recordings of all the artists to listen to, so you can see if you like them or not. Schedules of when everything's happening, more background information about the artists. We had a little video produced this year by Stream Media, a local video production company. It's playing right now in movie theaters in Calgary. It's a 15-second animation, and that's right on our homepage. It's so clever. It uses our hand-painted instruments in this animation that I think people really enjoy having a look at.
Excellent. And then too, there are brochures on different sites, the different locations where people will be playing. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the Esplanade has them, coffee shops around town, any of the venues that are involved, the tourist center, the cultural center, they're all over town, and they're going to be coming out in the news to everybody's home before long as well.
Okay, wonderful. And what about costs? You mentioned there were some free events, and are there different costs for different venues?
Yeah, there are. We've got everything from free to ticketed, and you know, ticket prices from $3 to $5 to $18 to $25 to $35, and then really the deal of the whole week is the pass. For $139, you're guaranteed a seat everywhere.
Oh, nice.
Everywhere. So you can come to something and you can go, oh, you know what, I didn't get anything to eat, I'm going to go and I'll come back, or you can go check this out. And you know, whereas at many festivals the pass gets you in if there's available seating, at ours we guarantee you a seat if you buy that pass.
Nice. And then the pass is available at the number?
At the Esplanade, yeah.
Okay, excellent. Yeah. So is there anything else that you'd really like to share with people before we finish up here?
Well, I think just to say that if you haven't experienced Jazz Fest before, maybe this is the year to give it a chance. You know, we've got the word jazz in there, but we also have the word fest in there. And I think I can guarantee you that you will have a great time. The music is the backdrop. It's great music, it's enjoyable, but it's a festival. It really is. And people that come and keep coming back talk about that sense of just having fun, whether it's meeting new people or bringing family and friends or bringing the kids or whatever it happens to be. There's any number of things that could happen, but you have to be there for it to happen. So
most certainly. And then to make it happen, you've got a number of volunteers. Isn't that the case with sponsors?
We do. Yeah, we've got anywhere up to 100 volunteers from the city that take part in this. A great backdrop of local sponsors that have made this possible and allowed us to be in our 16th year now. So it really is a community festival, and I think most people involved feel that sense of ownership and that they've contributed in some way to bringing us here. And so for those who want to get involved next year as well, they can contact you at the same address? Yeah, if they go to the website, there's information about that. We actually still have a few opportunities to volunteer this year. We're looking for a few stage crew people. One of the things we do is drive our artists back and forth from the Calgary airport here, And though that's a long drive, you got 3 hours in the car with one of our headliners. And the people who do this, get out of the car and go, oh my gosh, I really got to know that person. So it really is like an amazing experience for the people that do it. And we, of course, provide the vehicle and the gas. And so if people would like to be involved in volunteering, go to the website, call that number that I gave out earlier, and we'll try to get you involved. Great. Well, thanks. It was wonderful to meet you. Yeah, thank you. And I'm sure I'll see you. I'm sure. Thanks so much. You're so welcome. And be sure to check out Jazz Fest. It runs June 18th to 24th. Lots of venues, lots of exciting things. Visit the website and find out how you can get involved. We'll see you there.